And show you the Hawaiian chain, and located right up here is Guillermo, which was downgraded to a tropical depression a couple of days ago, actually about 24 to 36 hours ago, but during the last 18 hours or so it was upgraded again to tropical storm status because there were some ships in the area that reported some tropical storm force winds and even higher than that. So officially right now we have tropical storm Guillermo back on the map. And then once again, as of 11 o'clock Hawaiian Standard Time, it was centered at 29.5 north, 146.9 west, or about 870 miles to the northeast of Honolulu, Hawaii. This will not be affecting the Hawaiian chain as it continues moving on towards the west at 13 miles per hour. Top sustained winds right now, 45 miles per hour. So once again, a very minimal tropical storm. So downgraded to a depression, up to a tropical storm status again, but it looks like within the next 24 hours it'll become and be downgraded once again to just a mere depression. Not looking very healthy on the satellite pictures at the present time. Also, we were talking about a depression over the eastern Pacific.
Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather.
All right, let's talk about Winnie. And Winnie's been blowing through the Marianas. Now you can see the eye clearly passing west of the islands. And as this storm came rolling on through, it was packing winds of over 160 miles an hour sustained with gusts up to 195 miles an hour. What you're looking at here is the West Pacific. And now a closer view of the Mariana Islands. Here's Guam, here's Saipan, and here's Pagan. And the storm passed very close to Pagan and right near the center, in the eye wall, right here. That's where you have the winds 160 miles an hour sustained. And in this darker red area, that's where you have those hurricane force winds, typhoon force winds over 74 miles an hour sustained. And you can see it just churning its way off to the west. And notice this very dark red area staying well north of Guam. And Saipan got close to the action there, but the strongest wind gust I saw was about 60 miles an hour or so. Strongest wind gusts around Guam about 50 miles an hour, but about 5 inches of rain here the past couple of days. So you know, up in the central Marianas, it was just devastation here, probably, with unbelievable rains and winds. Category 5 on the Saffir-Simpson scale if it was in our part of the world in the Western Hemisphere. This is called a super typhoon and capable of catastrophic type damage. So these poor islands right through here really got hammered. Okay, back to the big picture we go. And here again, you can see the eye now passing clearly to the west of the Marianas. This should continue to head its way away from the island, so the weather will be improving in through there.
Significant right now. Guillermo is still spinning now as a tropical storm, even a little bit more intensity lately, but well north of Hawaii, moving generally slowly westward. And there's a new tropical storm on the map, and that one is called Hilda. First of all, Guillermo's coordinates are well northeast of Honolulu with 45-mile-an-hour winds, probably not enough to give you any more swells in Honolulu or the
point of your screen, this little area of cloudiness here, believe it or not, this is Guillermo. Once again, getting a little bit more warmer water, believe it or not. I mean, if you look at the way that the oceanic currents go, there's cool water that comes down off through the Gulf of Alaska and then flows out here into the central Pacific. It's almost like a nice little guard for Hawaii. But there is a pocket of warmer water the farther north you go. So believe it or not, our good buddy Guillermo is now once again a tropical storm. 30.5 north, 148.6 west. That's the 11 a.m. out of Honolulu. It's about 850 miles northeast of Honolulu, and it's also moving west-northwest, so we're not too concerned about it, obviously. But this was also, at one point, a 160-mile-per-hour hurricane. This is the visible satellite imagery, and as we've seen over the past couple of days, again, the structure of the storm still remains well intact. It's obviously not perfectly tropical, but it's potentially heading back that way as we start to see some of this deeper convection get in and around the center once again. But this is what these storms are all about. They're big heat engines.
We still have Guillermo Guillermo has been around now for about 2 weeks. That was once a super hurricane with top winds also of 160 miles an hour. And then it dropped down to a tropical depression, was upgraded again to a tropical storm. And now winds are about 45 miles an hour and it's moving toward the west, well north of the Hawaiian Islands, not going to impact them at all. And then down here to the southeast of that, we have our newest tropical storm in the Pacific, which is southwest of Baja, California. That is Hilda. Now we'll show you the particulars on both of those. Guillermo centered 29.7, 147.7, winds 45 miles an hour, moving towards the northwest at 12. We expect it to maintain that course, very likely keep the tropical storm for another 24 to 36 hours, and then again weaken as it gets over cooler water. Well, Hilda's another story. Well, here's another picture of Guillermo I wanted to show you. We don't have many pictures in there. This is a visible satellite picture. We really need a few more pictures there in order to be able to show you what it really does.
Up here closer to home, well, not all that much. We've got a swirl to the clouds here. This is the remnants of Hurricane Guillermo. Now, Guillermo has been with us now for 2 weeks. There's another area of disturbed weather here closer to the Americas. But let's take a look at Guillermo first and get the latest information. Guillermo, of course, is Spanish for William. And Tropical Storm Guillermo is centered right here, 30.5 north, 148.6 west, or 850 miles northeast of Honolulu. That puts it out in the middle of nowhere. Now that's great. It's far away from us and here in California. It's weak enough that it's not going to be generating any more high surf like you had last week at Newport Beach when this was a major hurricane. So this is merely a point of interest for us at the present time. We can zoom in, get a closer look at Tropical Storm Guillermo right in here. This is kind of in between a tropical system and a non-tropical system. It's moving over cooler waters, and it is not forecast to strengthen anymore. But there's still a nice tight circulation at the lower levels, not much in the way of convection or shower activity, but still some. It is still, in part, a tropical system. This is in its senescent stage, or its dying stage. Closer to the Americas, closer to Mexico, there's a tropical system that is now beginning to grow, though slowly.
Going on, we head into the eastern Pacific where we've got Tropical Storm Hilda, and we also have Tropical Storm Guillermo. It was a hurricane, then a tropical storm, then a depression, now a tropical storm again. It's been around for a couple of weeks, and we continue to watch it here as it swirls on through the Pacific. Nowhere near land, that's some good news, but it's still out there and we'll still continue to monitor it. Let's take a look at the coordinates on Guillermo. Centered at 31 north, 150.1 west, that puts the center about 850 miles northeast of Honolulu. The winds up to 45 miles per hour, moving to the west-northwest at 14. And here's another view of it, and again we can still make out the sort of center of circulation, and we'll continue to watch it as it is once again a tropical storm.